out there that we'll be able to address. Just to realize that we don't have enough resources, that is finance, the funding part. And then also, I've been in academia throughout my life. Before becoming minister, I served for 25 years in tertiary and higher education. That's the only job I've been doing. So I know the sector, both in the Gambia and outside the Gambia. So for a long time, this has been my passion. So when we came in, we wanted to really bring the transformation agenda, and to do that, you needed funding, and that's where we had some challenges. The vision, needed, financial support, because if you are, like you must have seen, the core sciences, the STEM, the engineering, the TVET agenda. These are hands-on education. You cannot be theoretical. If you come up with TVET centers, you need money to buy the equipment, among other issues. So, and then also, unfortunately, we did not have the right space at that time, for our students to have a very conducive learning environment in those days when people have to sometimes attend lectures, and yesterday you cannot see the lecturer, because the class is jam-packed, and so you are sitting outside, peeping sometimes through the window, But this is now history, we thank God, thanks to, government's surgical operations here and there, and support from development partners. So we were able to overcome some of those challenges. But it's still, based on what we want to do, we need, the main challenge is funding. So financing of tertiary and higher education.
So can we say, you are probably then translating that frustration that you experience as a lecturer into action to make sure things get changed?
Well, now you are no longer a journalist, but a psychologist now. But just if I am to confess, is that part of the energy that you see is the result of what we experienced the past 25 years, and now that we are at the helm of affairs, at the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. So we want to ensure, before we go back to the classroom, to fix, most of these issues, obviously with support from my boss, His Excellency President Barrow, and my colleagues, cabinet ministers, and the entire government machinery. Yeah, so we want to really ensure we, address those challenges within the tertiary and higher education.
So aside from resources, funding in this case, what were the other challenges that you thought needed your urgent attention?
Part of it is that you needed the highly skilled human resources and so on. So it happens that the higher education, we do not have enough Gambians around, so with terminal degrees and of professional rank at that time, to be able to really help support the transformation agenda. The majority were master's degree holders and so on. So, and these are some of the challenges within the higher education. But thank God, things are changing. A good number of our staff are going for studies at PhD level, coming back with flying colors, and we are sponsoring some of them, through taxpayers' money, Gambia government paying for them. Staff of the University of the Gambia, the University of Education, the Gambia, formerly Gambia College, Civil Service University, formerly MDI, and USET, University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, and even NACA, National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority. Because what people could not see now, and it's normal, is that in addition to the infrastructural development, remember the President has 3 main priorities. Priority number 1, infrastructure. Priority number 2, infrastructure. And priority number 3, infrastructure. But then infrastructure in all the different sectors, in health, in works with the road construction, but also in education. And that's what you've seen within the University of Gambia at USET and so on and so forth. But in addition to that, there's also the human capital development. That is, the Gambia government is spending a lot of money, millions, to sponsor students to go for their masters, you know, just a small group of people, in addition to those that we are sponsoring through our bilaterals. For instance, some UTG staff and University of Education, we are the one paying their tuition fees, giving them, you know, stipend, you know, to study at PhD levels and come back. That is to prepare them for that rendezvous that we are having. So a good number of them are abroad now. Some have started coming with their PhDs, working, and that's going to change. And that's the beauty of it also. Yes.
Let me just still stick to the issue of the funding that you mentioned as one of the key challenges you inherited at the ministry. Have things changed now in terms of funding?
Well, it is
the allocation given to the ministry in the national budget?
You know, we are not. We understand also there are priorities everywhere.
There's one basket.
So, yeah, so it is normal for us. Everybody will be complaining, we don't have enough. So it's never enough for everybody. But government is really doing their best to support. But because government is working in have different strategies. One through the main budget. So that one is not enough for anybody. Yeah. But then, in addition to that, government is also working with development partners to complement.
That's external funding.
Yes. So this is one of the strategies. And for instance, USET, University of the Gambia, all the infrastructural development. This is from the second option that government is. So,
like World Bank?
Yes, World Bank, IDB, you know, you name it. All these Arab banks and so on, they are all taking part. So this is what is going on. And we want to really thank President Barrow for giving us that opportunity. And the Tibet agenda with the Rice Project, it was thanks to the intervention of President Barrow. That's why we were able to get the necessary funding to really transform the Tibet ecosystem as highlighted earlier on. And this is as a result of that intervention. But this is a game changer. It's a paradigm shift because for a long time, you know, even with development partners, they did not want to fund higher education. You know,
why?
You know, because for them it was an elitist stuff, and the best thing is to invest more on basic and secondary education, which is a very important thing. People have to invest on that. But where they made a mistake, and that's why we had that gap, the skills gap, you know, after 60 years after independence, because that was the biggest mistake that the then government and some development partners at that time made, because they thought that you know, you have more return in basic and secondary education than higher education. The mistake they made was that they forgot that it's higher education that train the teachers. So if you don't get quality education for the teachers, then you will not get the right people.
And that's why many people are now blaming what is coming out of the college for what is happening in the primary
because you ignore the college. Yeah. If you ignore the college, then obviously you will not get the right products out there. And then also they forgot it's higher education that trained the medical doctors. It's higher education that trained the nurses, you know, and so on and so forth. Then it's higher education that trains the agriculturalists and so on and so forth. So it is higher education that trains the engineers. In essence, you need to look at education as a continuum. From ECD, you know, where you teach at nursery school, up to PhD. Don't put a Berlin Wall, you know, between the education sector. You know, allow it to have a breathing space. Allow it for the two sectors, subsectors to talk to each other and come up with a a cohesive and well articulated curriculum that is geared towards developing the the Gambia's development agenda by also signposting our trajectory. Unfortunately, that was not the case for a long time. But now that things have changed, thanks to His Excellency President Barrow.
So you start calling him Mr. Infrastructure.
Well, that's it. That's it. He's the one.
Yeah. well, I mean, Honorable Minister, I mean, when you talk about higher education, we must talk about the University of the Gambia that had and continues to graduate, I mean, thousands of Gambians, I mean, which was a far-fetched dream for many, I mean, before the advent of the University of the Gambia. What exactly are you doing to ensure that, I mean, the university degrees, I mean, graduates actually translate into real employment, I mean, opportunities?
Well, the first thing is to put them in a very teaching and learning condition. And before, as I stated earlier on, they were struggling. They were renting along MDI route, going to primary or senior secondary schools, renting. And as I said, they were also, even in Brikama, and where you fight for space, for chairs, and so on and so forth, and not having, sometimes you go out and have your lectures on the tree. It happened, so you can't get quality with that. But now, under the direction of President Barrow, all these things over now. So fast, so fast, and we're able to finish that. And then now have, as you know, we had Lot 1 in Faraba with the School of Arts and Sciences, School of Education, School of Business and Public Administration, and School of ITC, and the library, obviously with other civil work. That's what we've done, to the extent that now each of the schools, they are not using half of their facilities. So that's the game changer here, because the university is for today and tomorrow. It's also for the future. So those who will come to university in 30 years after, they will still have enough space and so on. And then the university will absorb also students who will be coming from the sub-region, because we want the Gambia to be an education hub. But then also, God willing, all roads will lead to Faraba come the 21st of December this year. Where
what's happening there?
Yes.
What? We were in Faraba last year. Why are you going back to Faraba again?
But remember, I told you, the president, the African Development Bank president, asked President Barrow to list down his priorities, 3 priorities, and he mentioned infrastructure.
Yeah, at the center.
Yeah. So and so here too, we'll go back and with President Barrow to inaugurate Lot 2 that consists of the Faculty of Law, the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences that is going to have 14 laboratories, state-of-the-art laboratories, so which they never had since independence. And then also the story building, 7 levels, Chancery building of the university. That will be done on the 27th of December. But that same day, the president also will lay the foundation stone of the state-of-the-art School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences. It will have the building for the School of Medicine proper, the building also for the School of Nursing, building for the School of Public Health, and also new programs such as the building for the School of Pharmacy and also the School of Biomedical Sciences, with 16 state-of-the-art medical laboratories. That's a revolution. It never happened since independence. Then now you will understand, with this unfolding, a response to all, you have the answers now to the question that you've asked, because this is going to now give quality. This is going to now create an opportunity where we'll come up with an indigenous solution to our malaise within the medical sector, where sometimes we cross the border to go to Senegal for treatment, go to Turkey or to India for treatment. Because what is going to happen, we would have trained necessary manpower here in the Gambia. But as part of the project, whilst the construction is on, effective next year, early next year, we're going to send Gambian lecturers now to top-notch medical universities, sending them out for training on specialized programs. Specialized, that is Gambian doctors, to go for specialized training, so that when they come, we'll now have some special, not
which is lacking in most fields.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that lacuna is going to be addressed also with this program. So you see the vision of His Excellency President Barrow is human capital. Because make no mistake, no country will develop without a highly skilled citizenry. The youthful population must be given an answer, must be given an alternative in their own backyards. So development is unfolding, but it's going to be anchored on knowledge, skill sets, because that's the rendezvous of tomorrow. That's the development of today and tomorrow. And this is the agenda of the Gambia government.
I know the phase 2 was supposed to be inaugurated as part of the Gambia's 60th independence anniversary. The president visited the site, but he appeared not really impressed with the progress of work at the time.
Yes,
why?
that was.
Was it lack of funding or what?
No, not lack of funding. We have enough funding for that. So there were some challenges with the contractors out there. But thanks to President's intervention, things are really ahead of schedule. So, and that's why we're able to finish we now able to now fix the inauguration deadline. And the beauty of it, the work is yet to finish.
Minister, how could you set an inauguration deadline? You're not even sure whether the contractor is it a way of committing them?
No, not only commitment. You see, I've said we have a rendezvous with history. And UTG students know we cannot postpone. The mantra is we cannot postpone our development. You see, if we are sending the signal that it is possible, we cannot continue delaying our projects. We need to clear our desk and respond to the Gambian people.
Well, that's a problem in this country. You see a project dragging for almost 5 years.
And that's the reason.
That will last just for 2 years or 1 year. And nothing comes out of it.
From my end at Mohas, we will really clash with anybody who wants to go for that. Because it's not part of our DNA. It's not why the president asked us to do that job. And it's a betrayal of trust if we connive with whoever is now delaying the process. Because, as you know, we Gambians are in a hurry to see the results. And that's also that of the president is working day and night to ensure that we deliver. So we cannot also delay the whole process. And we are also very, very thankful to the president because he was able to intervene and so that all stakeholders now sit up properly and be able to do the needful. And that's the reason why confidently we are able to, God willing, we're able to now fix the date for December. It must be science. It is anchored on science. Yeah. It is you're able to do X, Y, and Z. You can plan.
Well, to be honest with you, what I've seen with the Chancery, I'm surprised. The pace at which the contractor is.
Yeah, remember we are now on the 5th floor now, so we are left with only 2 floors now. So from here to December. So it means that's what I'm saying. With organization and method, it is possible. So it is showing that we always have to sit down and look at what is before us, and do it with a very Cartesian approach, organization and method, with a high sense of patriotism, professionalism, and focus. we cannot delay our development. We cannot have a developed country with borrowed strategies. We need to be ready. And that's also the M&E, the checks and balances. It should be there. Always monitoring what is going on, making follow-ups, and also updating His Excellency President Barrow so that wherever we have challenges, he can help and to support, to fine-tune. And also engaging different stakeholders to ensure that at the end of the day, it is for the Gambian people. So we need to deliver, because they don't expect anything other than for us to deliver. And to deliver, we must.
At the moment, your ministry is investing millions in subsidizing in terms of transportation for students to Faraba. The issue of dormitories.
Well, yes, the Gambia government is spending $36 million for the students, for their transportation. That's what we are paying every year. So last year, 36 million. This year, also 36 million. It is just to compensate, They are paying $10 to go, $10 to come. We'll sit down, together with the students and other stakeholders to look at the situation, what will be the best option. And because we are providing 20 buses for them. That's the agreement we had with GTSC. So,
but I know the permanent solution is to have dormitories at the campus. So
now, the dormitories...
Is there any funding? Is there any plan?
Yes, there's a solution. And I can happily tell you here that we are ready. And very soon, we'll be able to give a date where we will go back before December to lay the foundation stone of the dormitories Faraba. It will be done by MRC Holland Foundation and Brighter Future. Okay. So it's going to be at zero cost to the Gambia government once again. So it is already acted. Approval has been, granted that we will be able to do something. So thanks to our partners, and it is so already the way they've done in Brikama also.
So we can say, by January, School of Law will be moving to Faraba, and other schools. How about School of Journalism? Well, some of them are watching, and they'll be asking. I hope Ali will ask Prof about the School of Journalism.
I know you are the lawyer of your people. But yes, in fact, the Faculty of Law, School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences will be operational in September, God willing. But the inauguration proper will take place in December, because the Chancery will be ready in December. So that's why they will wait until December to do the inauguration. So it means that, that time all the Faculty of Law will have to move to Faraba. That's their final destination. All routes lead to Faraba.
Our School of Journalism.
Then and also agriculture, journalism.
Are you going to plead with law to give the one floor? Or ICT?
Yes, we'll engage university management to see how best they can now, because journalism, there are not many. They have School of ITC is not using even half of their infrastructure, the space, so they can either go to the School of ITC or the Faculty of Law, also to use one of the floors there. So there's also something that they can do, because next year 2026, UTG will not be at Kanifing MDI Road. Next year, those places will be under the new University of Civil Service.
That's MDI, which
is
now
transformed. MDI. Okay. So MDI, where you have the UTG Peace Building now, will be renovated. The ministry is going to renovate it, and it will serve as the chancery of the university. So our strategy is over there at Kanifing for the Civil Service University. We will be doing more of renovation. Okay, that will help us to save costs here and there.
No, like you said, I mean, university education is very important. I see it as the future of the country. In terms of ensuring quality and standards, I mean, what exactly are you doing to ensure there is the quality and
Well,
standards?
that's one of the things as per the transformation. You know, we are Faraba now, you know, Brikama, we are now transforming the, by the way, and we're unveiling the plaque tomorrow in Brikama, so that nobody calls it Gambia College, because Gambia College does not
University
exist
of Education
anymore. Now it's University of Education. Now at the entrance tomorrow, I'll go and you know, unveil a plaque there. So, and it means now they are working with the University of the Gambia to now transform, move some of the schools, School of Agriculture to go to Gambia College School of Agriculture to go to UTG School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, then Gambia College School of Nursing and School of Public Health to move into UTG School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, and the college will be left with only School of Education, and to be joined by the UTG School of Education, which is going to now form the new University of Education, the Gambia. So that's what we're going to do, and by doing so, that will help fine-tune the curriculum from ECD to PhD, and that will help us to come up with new programs. For instance, is part of the plans is to introduce degree programs in ECD, and the beauty of it is that it means that you will be having in our nursery schools, graduates, university graduates teaching as teachers, and not like in some situations where you are not needed anywhere else. You say go and be at nursery school and so on and so forth and teach there, among others. So there will be also some educational program, degree program that will be introduced. And then also we're going to, will later renovate the current structures, but also build new structures for the University of Education. It's also part of the plan. And you've seen the intervention that the Gambia government, under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, you know, made recently, just last weekend, this weekend in Brikama with USET, with the inauguration of the state-of-the-art campus.
Yes, I was coming to that, exactly.
Yeah. So, and then also the inauguration of the first cohort of homegrown engineers in mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and electrical electronic engineering, among other issues. So these are things that we are working on. So you address the infrastructural challenges, and then also the teaching and learning, that is the labs and so on and so forth, with state-of-the-art equipment. Then that will address quality. Then now with NACA, National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, will help really with the standards, with the curriculum, ensuring that it is in line with the industry. So that will bring quality, and that's where we are heading to.
And it's good you mentioned the issue of the USET, I mean, university in Brikama, which was inaugurated by the president. I mean, just something related to that. I mean, I heard, I mean, that the second batch of the students of the USET, that's the Kwame Nkrumah University in Ghana, they have not been attending lectures since September.
No,
why?
Remember,
they are very concerned. No, when are they going to resume?
No. What is, you know, we signed contract. The program that we're doing is in different phases. Okay. We have, we signed a contract through the World Bank project with Kwame Nkrumah University, and also with Demonfort University. Kwame Nkrumah to deliver the engineering programs, and Demonfort University, Leicester in the UK, to deliver the entrepreneurship and innovation program. Because the uniqueness of this program that we are offering at USET is that graduates will have 2 degrees. One is in engineering, the other one in entrepreneurship. So, because the objective is to ensure that when they graduate, they really be job creators, not job seekers. So we sign contracts, and the World Bank program is a DLI. You know, it means that they will not give you money. You deliver, they verify, then they pay you. If you don't deliver, they cannot pay you. So these are some of the issues. So what happened? Part of the funds that we were supposed to get is linked to the construction. Okay. So, and for the construction, the campus must be ready. And they sent an independent verifier who will come, look at the whole thing, verify everything, and write his report, send it to the World Bank. If it is satisfactory, that's the time now the World Bank will pay you. If it is not, then now you are the one who is going to pay in return. So this was the issue towards the end. So now it is all not only is addressed, we now receive the payment from the World Bank. In fact, if we had not done that, we were going to pay back to the World Bank 1.3 million. But the good thing is not only we performed very well, but we now ended up getting $2.5 million. Okay.
So when are you going to resume lectures?
So now it's the end of this month. They're going to now resume. That's the cohort, because we've already paid, Kwame Nkrumah University, because we now gotten the money from the bank, because they perform, how to call it, the report is now very positive, and we passed the test to some extent, and that's the objective. Now after that. After this second cohort, we are not going through now Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah, definitely have your own.
So now we'll now have USET. The third and the fourth now are taught by USET proper USET lecturers. Because remember what I did, and thanks to President Barrow's support here. With Kwame Nkrumah. In Ghana and also the Montfort, we are paying millions, you see, for that service. So we are saying now that millions that we are paying, we could use it to develop our own. So what we've done strategically is, we said, okay, we don't want to be spending. What we have, less spending to pay for external service. Let's use it to equip our universities. So now, so what we can do is to get the professors from Nigeria through the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps, and where now they sent us 18 professors in engineering. So, and the Gambia government will just take care of their accommodation and local transport. So it's Nigeria who pays their salaries. So the 18 professors who are here now lecturing the third and fourth cohort are paid by Nigeria. We are not paying anybody, including the Vice Chancellor. His salary is paid, her salary is paid by Nigeria. And that's what we are doing for. It's a strategic move that gives us breathing space. Whilst the little we have now, we use it to pay for the training of our people. We send them out for their PhDs, so that when they come back, they will be able to take over from the Nigerian professors that we have who are here on technical assistance, because they are here for 2 years, renewable, obviously. So this is the strategy.
Okay. At the last 17th convocation, Dr. Mamadou Mustafa Fane, who is the chairman of the UTG Governing Council, made a plea that the government to take responsibility of paying the basic salaries of university staff. You've heard that plea. Yes,
it is part of the our strategy in our document. That the first document that we developed 3 years ago called Sustainable Financing of Higher Education. So it was there captured as for government to take care of the basic salaries. So we've done our homework. So, but then we are working with the Ministry of Public Service. We've already prepared a joint cabinet paper. In fact, yesterday, interestingly, I was chatting with the Honorable Minister, Boy, as you know, a seasoned
educationist,
education and a professional.
Yeah, definitely.
A professional. He's very focused and very hardworking, and ready to work for the Gambia. So he too told me that, in fact, his permanent secretaries were doing the final touches on that, because we send them the the draft. They're now also putting their input because it's a joint document. So maybe next week, most likely it will be ready and to be sent to Cabinet Office, and so that it will be discussed at Cabinet and for edition to be taken. But we have all the data necessary, and we thought that it will be the best option. We want to really abolish the subvention to our universities and replace that with the payment of the basic salaries.
So as part of the ongoing reforms, are you in any way considering introducing artificial intelligence in our curriculum in the university?
Yes. It's part of our transformation agenda. You know, AI is something very, very important. These are jobs. If you want to come up with solutions to the jobs of tomorrow, you must really work on AI. These are some of the things that we'll be incorporating in our education curriculum, and technology is also one of them, and AI for that matter. We will really be taking care of that.
Last month, the president launched the first ever Gambia Madrasa integration strategy. That's 2025-2029. Honorable Minister, what actually inspired, the development of this strategy, and what do you seek to achieve from this?
Well, there's GMIS, Gambia Madrasa integration strategy, directly from His Excellency President Barrow, who wants us to really have a very inclusive education system. To do that, we noticed that our brothers and sisters in the madrasa, were not that captured post-secondary. There were interventions at basic and secondary school level to some extent. But even there were some limitations in some of the things that we wanted them to be doing. So we thought it wise to really come up with a consultant. We engaged the World Bank that we would really want them to fund the study for that. So that will help us to have a very inclusive society, education system, because we feel that democracy will not be complete if you have, for instance, close to 20% of school-going children at secondary school level not being taken care of, because that's what they represent, at that level. So post-secondary, what are we doing for them? Continuing the status quo 6 years after independence, when they finished, for them to be usas and imams and few of them to be the qadis. No, that's not what happens in the Arab world. We travel to the Arab world. We've seen that they are into science.
Yeah.
We've seen that they are into medicine. They are into Tibet. So how comes that in the Gambia we want to put our brothers and sisters in a confinement?
In the mosque
No, we need to change. And for development to really be complete, all these people need to come on board. In essence, the Gambia government under the leadership of President Barrow is of the view that our brothers and sisters in the madrasa should be supported to really have a strong foundation in Islamic studies and so on and so forth, and that Islamic culture to be there in them. And some can be imams and so on and so forth, but they can also be engineers. They can also be technicians in construction, in tailoring, automotive, and so on and so forth. All these things they can be, so that they can feed themselves, feed their family, feed the nation.
So how were the stakeholders involved in the drafting of the strategy?
It was very, very comprehensive. Banjul to Koina. There is no madrasa that is left out, recognized madrasa that is left out. All the recognized madrasas were interviewed, were visited, and their management and the students interviewed. So that's what we've done, from Banjul to Koina. But also we talked to all those who work from, for instance, Imam Esadabo from Amana with his vast knowledge of experience in that area. So to really help us we hear from their voices to see, get their input. We also talk to others from the Islamic universities around, and then also from the Professor Abdulkadir Silla, the University of the Gambia, Islamic unit, and others from other Tibet centers, other Islamic institutes, so that they gave us their views, and the Imam Babalis and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, we were able to really get their support, and they're eagerly waiting for that.
So what systems are in place to measure the effectiveness of the implementation of this strategy?
Well, the first thing we're going to have what we call the Madrasa board. But it's not just going to be higher education. It's going to do it with MOPSI. Because at the end of the day, the curriculum needs to be synchronized. The way you have the WAEG, where the curriculum is really well structured, the assessment, all done. And now there must be a board, a Madrasa board, that will be there to now regulate madrasa education in the Gambia in general. That's from the Gambia government perspective, from basic to higher education. That's the other thing also is we want to see how to include Tibet and STEM into the madrasa. So that's what we're going to work with them. And the other thing also, we've started giving them scholarships. For the first time, Mohas decided to set aside scholarship, 100 scholarships to the madrasa people. Because what we've noticed is most of the time when we now propose a scholarship table at the University of the Gambia, I say 7 credits. That criteria is different from the one that the madrasa people will get. So de facto they are excluded. So now came up with something separate, entirely dedicated to the madrasa, because they are also paying tax. They are also citizens. We need to also put something on the table for them, and so that they are they can also appreciate what the Republic is doing, because the Republic knows no boundaries, and the Republic must serve everybody, the madrasa included. So that's what we are trying to do, thanks to the guidance and visionary leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow.
Let's now look at, research and scientific development. I know a couple of months ago you took almost 3 bills, to the National Assembly. Bring us up to speed as to what happened to those bills. The ones on science, research, students revolving loans and all those things. Well, yeah, why do you think there's a need to have those things in place?
Well, this is how it's supposed to be. It's part of the transformation agenda, and it was articulated in the first document that we prepared 3 years ago, Sustainable Financing of Higher Education. So we have now built for the first time since 1965, that is the TED Fund, Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund. This is a fund that is there to support tertiary and higher education institutions, but it's going to be competitive. So if you want to build some labs, you want to buy some teaching and learning materials here and there, you sit down, do your homework, write a proposal, strong proposal, send it to the fund. Then now a team of experts will review, and if it is really bankable, they'll fund it, give you the fund, so that you can now go and do it as per the plan. In essence, government will not be sitting there having money to be distributing to people anyhow. You must sit down and do your homework first. Write a proposal. And then demonstrate that you are ready for business. We give you the funds. So that fund is meant for that. In essence, it's a call for action, where people now will be supported, but provided they are ready for that. That's one. The other one is the Research and Innovation Act now, fund. So we have that fund. Now is to support research and also innovation, because creativity, innovation is something that will create development. So that needs to be enhanced. So we will have funds that is geared towards that. Then the other one is the student revolving loan scheme. That one, we finished the second reading, and God willing, now everything is done. On the 11th of July, God willing, we'll go back to National Assembly for its adoption.
That's the third reading.
That's it for the third reading. And then now it becomes, it will now wait for the president's, signature, and then it becomes law. And we have funding already, is budgeted this year. So it means it's going to start immediately. On the 11th, we are done, and the president later assents to it. Then we are ready to roll it out. And for the first time in the history of the Gambia, in addition to the scholarships component that we'll be giving, and that will be based on excellence and so on, we'll also have a student revolving loan scheme that will be there to support students, and so that they can now do concentrate on their education, and then later when they are done, they can now start paying back. So that
who is eligible for this loan?
Well, at that time, the criteria will be there, but all Gambians from our public and tertiary institutions will be eligible. But you need to be a Gambian national, and also in the Gambia here, in our enrolled in our tertiary and higher education institutions here to be eligible for that.
So far, since you assumed office as the minister, is there anything that you will look back and say, I wish I would achieve this by now?
Well, the issue is as I said, is the funding. Is the funding that has that helped to that delayed to some extent some of our activities. As you know, we are having, as per the YIRUA, the National Development Plan, regional Tibet centers. Each region must have a Tibet center, and that's what we are doing. So because we do not have enough funding, so from the main budget, we are working with our development partners and to be able to address that. So in certain situations, we have funding for the construction of the Tibet, but sometimes we will not have funding for the equipment. And the equipment is very, very expensive, because engineering programs, these are very expensive. Automotive, and other stuff, construction. So the equipment is also heavy. That's where we are having challenges. If we had all the funds, all these things would have been over by now. But better late than never, things are unfolding, and the message is sinking. People are understanding that there cannot be any development if we do not address the human capital issue. There's no country that develops without a highly skilled citizenry. It's not possible. There's no country. So if we want to develop, we must train our people. We must give them the skill sets. So, and that's we need to have our doctors. We need to have our nurses. We need to have our engineers. Remember my famous statement, system of containment. You train your people here, they stay. Then now the funds that we get through loans or grants in millions of dollars will be in the hands of Gambians. And the money will stay in our banks here. But then if we don't have the personnel, it will be paid to non-Gambians, and they take the money outside.
And so what are you doing as a minister and a ministry to ensure that people who have gone outside of the country to study, maybe under government scholarship or maybe through the bilateral relationship, actually come back to serve the country? That is a big concern for many countries in Africa.
Well, we're trying. So some of them, especially those we give scholarships, we bond them. Okay. So a good number of them do come back, really. So that one is those who are not, most of the time, bonded, who tend not to come back. But it all depends. Rome was built by the Romans, but I think it is important also for us to see how best we can build the house, the national house called the Gambia. Beautiful country called the Gambia, where we all come together and be laborers also. laborers for the Republic. And so with the skill sets that we receive here and there, we come either through the public or private sector. All countries develop because also the private sector is very, very vibrant. So there's a lot that can, even here, when I was coming, I noticed that
yeah.
I was here just some weeks ago, but today when I came, I noticed some changes.
Yeah,
things are changing within QTV, so I can't recognize the place. So that's a lot. That shows that there's vibrancy, and that's what we want our brothers and sisters out there to also continue contributing their quota to come in different ways, either in the public sector or in the private sector, for them to work together with all of us so that we can change the dynamics.
Honorable, I know we're running out of time. I understand you have relocated the ministry. Where are you now?
Yeah, now we are just behind you now.
Oh, really?
So we are just now around the immigration
okay, where they're posting the ID cards.
Yes, where they now produce the ID cards. Okay. That's where we are now, because our place where we were, we had issues. The place was leaking. Okay. So, and it's the rainy season. So,
and I know it must have been far for you again. You know, going to a cabinet meeting and then driving from.
Yes. So, though the other one was close to my house, so
exactly.
I could even walk to go to the office. But it's better to be in a safer place and and very conducive place, at least for now.
And finally, Honorable Minister, I mean, what kind of a legacy would you like to leave behind if you were to leave office tomorrow?
Well, before we talk about the legacy, remember we have the also the SIA fund, Moha's SIA fund, Skills Innovation and Entrepreneurship Fund, that's close to 400 million, exactly $396 million. For the first time in the history of Mohas, that is the Gambia government is giving out to the youths as part of our Tibet agenda. And it has 3 windows. Window 1 is to support the Tibet centers. And very soon we're going to now do an advert. That's for all the Tibet centers, both public and private. And to support the Tibet centers to do some minor renovations here and there and review their curriculum, fine-tune it to the industry and so on and so forth. Then window 2 is scholarships for those students in the Tibet centers to get the support necessary so that they can concentrate on their education and not to be stopped because of lack of funding for their tuition fees. And window 3 is startups, those who are having good ideas, good proposals here and there to be funded so that they can start their own activities. So to respond to your question regarding a legacy, well, it's the legacy of the president. Remember, what we're doing is based on the president's agenda, but we would want to ensure that at the end of the day, people say he came, he found, and he changed, and for the better. We might not be able to get it 100%, but for us to got it at least more than 50%, and when we are done, we go back to the classroom, and so that we will not be prisoners of our own conscience when we go back to the university.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Professor Per Gomez. He was my guest on the program. Thank you so much once again for coming. Honorable, I guess we should start offering guided tours of your office for inspiration. I hope people do, but thank you so much for coming on the program once again. Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end to this week's edition of your weekly State of Affairs program. I was your host, Alusise. Do join us next week. Until then, bye-bye from me and the entire team.